And welcome to shared reading video number 2. So this is the second video that you'll be watching in your list of shared reading videos in between your reading groups. So going back to our learning intentions, so remember we're learning to evaluate the ways in which spoken language is delivered for its purpose, audience and context. Focusing again on that word evaluating, we're having a look at what was good about it, what was not so good about it. Did it achieve its purpose? Did it engage with their audience? And was the context and the topic good for the audience that it was aimed to be able to deliver to? So we're going to focus still again on those two success criteria where we can recognize there are different types of spoken text, and we're identifying the elements of a spoken text and how they're used to engage the audience. So we're going to watch a different type of spoken text today. So yesterday we had a look at Brandon Leakes, and we had a look at his spoken text, and his spoken text was delivered through a form of poetry or an ode that he did. We're going to have a look at another spoken text today. Now this one's very different, but yeah, it's still some similar elements that are here. So let's have a look. What we're going to do is we're going to watch the whole thing all the way through, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to stop at certain parts to have a conversation about it. But just as you're watching, I want you to think about the kind of things that this person is doing, how they're engaging with the audience, what are the elements that they're using, what techniques are they using, emotive language, are they using facial expressions, body gestures, what are they doing as they're presenting their spoken text today. So I want you to think about that, think about what is the purpose, who do you think the audience is. So we're just having a look at those things as we're going. All right, let's have a look. Here we go.
Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
My name is Kobe Bryant. I'm 17 years old. I have the hunger, the motivation, and the desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
He worked day and night, every day, for years and years and years and years and years. As time went on, 20 years had passed, and he felt that he had accomplished all that he set out to accomplish. But what he come to realize is that the goal that he set out initially of becoming the greatest of all time was a very fickle one. And what he realized that the most important thing in life is how your career moves and touches those around you, and how it carries forward to the next generation. But he realized that's what makes true greatness. So the story would be about transformation of a kid looking inwardly to then growing up and understanding the importance and the power is looking outward.
It's a great feeling to know that you set a goal for yourself, and you were able to reach that goal and to knock it down.
If I had the power to turn back time, I would never use it. I don't think about it. Because then every moment that you go through means absolutely nothing, but you can always go back and do it again. So it loses its flavor, it loses its beauty. When things are final, moments won't ever come again. To be able to have the power to go back and re-experience those things it's silly to me.
When you take that jersey off at the final time, how do you think you're gonna feel?
Very at peace with it, and I'm very thankful, for the 20 years that I've had, and ready to go.
So a pretty powerful video there. And when I think about the purpose of this, I feel like the purpose of this is to inspire. The purpose of this video, like it says up there, is to motivate. And I think it's not motivate people of the now or people of the past, but I think it's to motivate those future generations, those future people who have a dream. It doesn't even have to be basketball, where we have Kobe Bryant here, whose passion and dream was basketball, but he's just talking about that motivation of, if you have a dream, to go for it and to be to give everything you've got and to be happy with that. And I think that purpose and that audience is where Kobe is trying to connect. And I think about just some of those things that he's doing. And this spoken text is kind of presented a kind of like an interview. But my wondering is around a few things, like why is Kobe Bryant sitting down? What's he doing when he's doing that? Like, he's looking down straight at that camera. So I'm thinking that the reason for that is that he's trying to connect with the audience. Sometimes it's hard to connect with an audience through a screen if you're not within the same room. So you actually have to work a lot harder to pull them in to be able to engage in you. So him looking directly down at that camera is kind of like he's looking at you. Looking as he's talking to you. And I think that eye contact is really important for the purpose of what Kobe Bryant was trying to actually deliver through that motivation, that he's actually talking to you. Another thing I noticed that Kobe does is he actually began his story with a personal story about his life as a basketball player, and what he did every day to start off with. And he was young, and he built up that dream, and he continued on going. But it's funny how he's actually referring to himself in the third person. He's not saying I. He's saying there was a basketball player and he's referring to himself in that third person, which is quite an interesting little technique that he's doing. So although we know it's his personal story, he's sort of saying it as if it's not his, so he's removed from that. And that's a really interesting technique that he's used there. I also think about just those language features he's using, like he's directly talking to the audience. He's using that emotive language to try and inspire and to motivate people to follow their dreams. And I think if I evaluate whether his speech was successful, whether his spoken text was successful, well, I would probably say based on his purpose, based on his audience, and based on the context, I would say that he is. And he's using lots of techniques to be able to connect with his audience in that way. And I think that's really important in terms of being able to do that. And having those skills and those techniques to be able to do that successfully is really important. And I think Kobe has actually been able to do that. I wonder what you think about that.